There are three things that you must nail when it comes to planning your videos for your YouTube channel. I'm going to hit on each of those three things. But before I do, I want to dive into one thing that I get asked all the time. And actually, it's something I used to struggle with before as well. But now I have a zero problem because there's all kinds of ways to figure this out. And it's finding unlimited topics to talk about for your videos on your YouTube channel regardless of what your niche is and whether you're just getting started or you already have an established channel. Are you ready for this? Let's dive in. What I'm sharing with you right now is my Asana desktop. This is what I use for planning out my videos. This is my production project timeline, if you will, and it's blank right now. I do have things in each one of these cards, but this is just showing you like everything that needs to be done for your video and everything that you need to plan before you even press record. So you will find that the majority of the time that you invest in your YouTube videos is going to be in the planning process. In fact, if you plan everything out ahead of time, you're going to spend a lot less time recording, being on camera, and then also you're going to spend a lot less time editing because you're not going to have as much edits to take care of. So that is the purpose of this. But I do understand that not everybody has Asana. Not everybody wants to get into Asana. You might be using Notion. You might be using Trello. You might be using any one of the other project management type applications. So what I did was create a universal version of this, which is in Google Docs. You'll have access to this through the bundle and the link that's in the description. So if you want to grab that now, go ahead and do that. And you can walk through it together with me as we go through these videos. Here is what you'll have access to. It is the YouTube checklist, which walks you through every detail that you need for setting up your YouTube channel. As you can see here, it's very detailed. So you will get access to that. And then that's everything that you get right there. It is also going to, oh, I closed it. Okay, we'll just stay on this page then. You'll get the video production flowchart template, which is what this is right here. Everything that we'll go through. As I go through each step, I'll show you what those are. You will get the video planning workbook, which is going to be what we're going through in the flowchart, but it's in a PDF format where it does it so that you have each video and it's more visually appealing. So that'll be there for you as well. And then it asks you some questions too, just as like a reminder, like, why are you creating this video? What business goal does this video support? So some things to keep in mind as you start moving forward with planning your videos, so you don't get into this place where you're like, why am I creating these videos? Like it doesn't even align with what I'm doing. It doesn't align with my other content. It just helps keep you on track so that you stay focused. And then I'm going to share with you my YouTube thumbnail best practices. In fact, I include a template in there into some things that you need to include as well, which I will go over at that point, which I'll also touch on when I go through the three critical pieces that you need to have when you're planning your video. And those three things need to work cohesively together. Here are my video ideas. I have these separated out in here because as I get ideas or as I come across a comment, like someone was asking me questions through an email today about why you shouldn't delete your videos on your YouTube channel. She was asking me some follow-up questions. It was actually giving me some content ideas. I will take those ideas from that conversation and I'll put them in here with my video ideas. Now, what I have in here right now is for just some things that you can start thinking about, especially if you don't have a channel right now and you're just getting started. You're probably thinking, what do I need to talk about? I don't even know where to begin. So these are some places that I always recommend with my clients as great starting points, because if you've been in business saying, what am I going to talk about? You likely came up with some frequently asked questions. You can just keep them all in here in what I call video idea bank. So as you have them, you can put them in here. The Google Sheet might be more cumbersome to keep track of your video ideas. But for me, I've got the Asana app on my phone. So no matter where I'm at, when I have an idea, I just plug it in there. Then as you're planning your videos from week to week, or if you batch record, batch plan and do all that, then you'll have everything that you need right there too. Let's go ahead and go into that card. So research titles. These are some things that I wanted to talk about first before we get into those three critical pieces that you need to have in place working cohesively together and is really the most important part for getting people to watch your video longer. The three that I want to talk about here, you can see here there's 10. I've talked about probably all of these in other videos, I will link one of them if it's on this side or this side. What I'm going to go through are these first three. And the first one is being my experience. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute. I'm going to share like how I use these, and then you can think through if these are things that you can use and if it's applicable to you and it might be helpful for you in finding topics as well. If you know why you started your business, then that's something that you can talk about in a video. You don't necessarily have to only talk about the products and services that you offer in your business, right? You want to get to know, like, and trust you as a person as well. So you might want to have a video at some point saying, here's why I started my business. And that situation is to really lean into the nuances. I was actually talking with somebody else today. That conversation was walking her through how I got to this point of focusing on for women over 40. When I first decided to focus on video, it was very broad. It was video marketing in general, because I knew YouTube, I knew TikTok, I knew Instagram Reels, and how to make videos put on your website. So it was very broad because it was what I knew how to do. The problem was with that is that it was too generic and it didn't connect with people in a way that I thought it might help connect with people. So I really talked through that, but then honing in on where I'm at today, where I'm focusing only on YouTube and I'm working with women over 40, it's because it's something that I can relate to. I'm over 50 actually, but women over 40, they've got experience, they've got stories, they've got their different journeys, they've got ebbs and flows that have happened throughout their career, through their company. Number 2 on this list, which is titles of videos outside of your niche. What I want to do is I'm going to go into YouTube, and we are going to search on, this is an example of finding titles that are outside my niche. And I'll show you how that is applicable once we pull some of those up. If we go to the search, and I'm just going to say it's something completely outside of my niche. Oh, how do I start an in-home garden from scratch? Okay, so we are going to look at this. I will get to why this is important, but what we're looking for here, the number of views, which you can see right here on this video, compared to the number of subscribers. When the number of views on a video is higher than the number of subscribers on that channel, it's a really good video. Then we want to take it a step further and say those videos that are performing well, but within the last 12 months. What we're going to do here, as you can see, this one was 6 years ago, which is a great example of how videos continue to perform forever. Over here on the right-hand side, you can see filters. And now we're going to say this year. And then I'm also going to put in here, you can see it's starting to filter now. So it's this year, but I don't want to see any shorts. So it's just on videos. And then I'm going to say, we're going to say 4 to 20 minutes. We want to make sure they're not YouTube shorts. We're looking at the number of months, and then we're looking at views compared to subscribers. This one right here, this person has 6.3 million views, and they have 2.72 million subscribers. Okay, and it's DIY garden ideas. When we look at this title, wish I knew this method of growing tomatoes sooner, many large and succulent fruits. If we look at that and say, how can I take that title and apply it to my niche? I might want to say, wish I knew this method of growing my YouTube channel sooner, many leads and views later. Something like that. So you can see how I'm using the format of the title, but I'm plugging in what is applicable in my niche. Why am I doing that? This video performed really well. You can see here the 64x, but when you see something like this next to it, and you can see the explanation here, it means that this video is performing 64 times better than other videos on this channel. And it was also published 11 months ago. It's within that 12-month time frame. So that means that there's something about that title that worked for this channel. If this title worked for that channel, then I'm going to try that title on my channel. Do you see how that connection is taking place and why you might want to do that? So that's another way. And you can go up here and change the search and just do all kinds of things. If you really needed to find out like which ones were most popular, if we were like, hey, this one's really performing well, then we could go to this channel and then you can look at the videos on this channel by going to videos, and then you can actually sort the videos based on most popular. If you click on popular, now all the videos that are most popular are at the top. Now you can see they're all popping up. These 100 times, these are all very high performers. So you could go through and look at each one of these titles and say, if these performed well, then how can I plug in the words or keywords of my niche or this particular video and see if this title works? The third way that I wanted to go over with you on how to find unlimited number of topics for your channel is to go deeper on listicles or videos. Like, and this can even be in your content. If you don't have videos on your channel right now, you're like, I can't do that. But if we go to, I'll just use my channel as an example, because I've done listicles a lot. You can see here, there are like right here, 6 YouTube features that will change the game in 2025, 5 types of YouTube content. The reason why I'm sharing that is 3 simple steps. When you have listicles like that, what you can do is you can take each one of those items in that video. So I said there were 5 types of YouTube content you need to be using in 2024. I can now change that to in 2025. And each one of those types, I can go deeper. So if one of those types is using YouTube Shorts, now I can go and do a deep dive on why it's important for you to use YouTube Shorts on your channel in 2025. If you don't have videos right now on your channel and you're like, that's kind of where I'm at, Vicki, that's why I'm here, then I would say if you've got a blog, if you've ever written a post on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or wherever, I would go back to any of those where you have the listicles, and then each one of those items that you have included in it, take each one, dive deeper, and then each one of those things can become a video. Let's go back to the Asana board. And now what we're going to want to do is research thumbnails. Oh, I need to share my screen again. Let me share my screen again. Okay. Yes, you can see it. Okay, so research your thumbnails. What you want to do is do a search with the title and keywords, and then you want to see what thumbnails are popular. In this case, we're looking at the thumbnails and what is catching the eye about those. Like, what is a good thumbnail? What is a common theme in the thumbnails? Your thumbnail is your number one component in that 3-component item that I said is really critical to your video planning process in order to not only attract people to your videos, but get people to click on your titles and then watch your videos longer. Now, when we look at these, so this thumbnail, easiest veggies to grow. So again, I'm looking at how do I start an in-home garden from scratch? So we're talking about, I don't have any idea about what I need when I start. I have no idea. Easiest veggies to grow may not be ideal because I don't even know like where I'm going to put my veggies yet. So that's great. That might be something I want to come to later, but it may not be applicable right now. Okay, so you kind of have to think through like what the topic, what contents are in your video, and then take it from there. Okay, so garden starting simplified. Yes, that sounds good, but he's outside. I said in home. Okay, garden step number 1. These are all outdoor. Oh, that's sponsored. These are all outside. This one, grow these now to grow indoors. There we go. That caught my attention, right? Because it's like I'm looking at the pictures. That's where the thumbnail magic comes into play. It's all about the image. What's going to capture somebody's attention? I'm in the market for starting a garden in my house. I want to see photos where they're showing gardens or what they're doing in their house to grow a garden. So that's the first thing. Again, you have to put yourself in your ideal customer's shoes to say, how are they going to see things? How are they searching for information? How are they going to find me? And then all of these choices, how are they going to find me? And then how can I be interesting enough so they're like, hey, I like that thumbnail. I don't even know who this person is, but I'm going to click on it because it caught my interest, right? So that's the most important thing about your video is that it needs to be your thumbnail. And I know that sounds crazy, but if your thumbnail doesn't capture somebody's attention, they're not going to look at your title. If your title doesn't make any sense and it doesn't coincide with what your thumbnail is, they're not going to click on it to watch your video. So at that point, your video becomes pointless because they're never going to see your video if your thumbnail and your title don't get them to click through to actually watch your video. That's why it's so important. So your thumbnail, number one important item in your video trifecta, which we're going to call packaging. Your video packaging needs to include a really captivating, intriguing thumbnail that closes the gap between where somebody's at today and where they need to go. Now I'm going to look at the title, 7 Easy Vegetables to Grow Indoors. Easy means beginner. 7 means great. I'm going to have a lot of choices. Hopefully she's going to talk about, or he's going to talk about space, like where am I going to put this garden? And then to grow indoors. Perfect. That's what I was looking for, right? So you can see now how important those 2 items are to work together. Now, imagine if we'll just use the sponsored ad below here with Sunny Lenarduzzi, who I really love. Let's say that this was the thumbnail for my 7 easy vegetables to grow indoors. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Would you click on it? I'm going to say 100% confidence, no, because it doesn't make sense. So those 2 have to work together. Now, let's say that you did this thumbnail, so the one that goes with the title, the 7 easy vegetables to grow indoors. You click on it, and then all of a sudden they started talking about starting an online course. It doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't align with what the thumbnail and the title indicated you were going to deliver in this video. That's where the hook, those first 15 to 30 seconds of your video, come into play. They click on your thumbnail, they click on the title. You've already you've intrigued them with your thumbnail. You've told them in the title what's going to be included in those first, we'll say 30 seconds. You need to grab their attention, follow through on what you promised them was going to be in the video, and then continue that process. You have to continue to engage them and re-engage them in the video in order to get them to keep watching until the very end. Just like at the beginning of this video that you're watching right now, I said at the very beginning, I've got 3 very important things that you have to have in every video that I'm going to talk about. But first, I'm going to talk about how you can find unlimited topics. I intrigued you with the 3 things that you must have in every video in order to set it up for success. And then I kind of put it on the back burner and said, but we're going to talk about this first. So that's an example of how you can use that in your videos. Let's go through here and hopefully you'll be able to hear this, but we're going to listen to and watch the first, we'll say 30 seconds, but if we get the point across before then we'll do that. I haven't watched this yet, but there's an ad. We may have to wait a second. Skip. Okay, listen.
In this video, I'm going to show you 7 easy to grow indoor plants with plenty of variations. The beauty of an indoor garden.
Right there. He delivered on the promise in the first, we'll say 5 seconds, because I think he got done saying what he was going to talk about. He reiterated the title in the hook of his video. So now I know that's what he's going to talk about. But you're going to listen a little bit longer just to make sure that he actually is going to deliver on that, instead of saying, hey, we're going to talk about these 7 easy vegetables that you can grow inside. And then all of a sudden he sidetracks and talks about different tools that you need for outdoor gardening. So you want to continue listening to it.
Nutrition-packed plants, vegetables all year long. While an indoor garden would have to be pretty large to sustain you, it can stretch your stored food and add flavor and micronutrients to your meal.
It sounds like it's going to work, right? That's how those 3 components, your thumbnail, your title, and your hook, those are the 3 most critical pieces of every single YouTube video that you're going to create and publish. And hopefully I did a good job of explaining why it's important, showing you examples. Let me know in the comments if that was helpful, if you understand every piece of it, if you understand why it's important. Just let me know in the comments. I would love to know. And we are going to talk about how you research hooks. This is a fun one. I'm going to pull this up real quick. So what we're going to do is we are going to use ChatGPT. It doesn't matter if you have the free version or the paid version. If you want to use one of the other AI tools, you can do that as well. I'm going to show you ChatGPT because it's the tool I always go to, and I've got the paid version. So I'm going to pull that up right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can create phenomenal hooks for your videos. Okay. I'm on research hooks over here. Ask ChatGPT for hook ideas based on your video title and script. And what you'll put is act as a YouTube expert. I need your help coming up with hook ideas for my YouTube video. Below is the title and script. Please provide 10 hooks that will capture the attention of my target audience in the first 15 seconds. So what you're going to do is you are going to take your title and your script, whether you have it completely written out or if you just have it bullet pointed out. You're going to take that, you're going to copy and paste it into ChatGPT along with this prompt. Pull mine up. I can show you what that looks like. And it's going to give you hook ideas so that you don't have to try and come up with your own. And this just makes it super simple. As you can see here, I've got act as a YouTube expert. I need your help coming up with hook ideas for my YouTube video. Below is the title that you can see here and script right here. Please provide 10 hooks that will capture the attention of my target audience in the first 15 seconds. Now, this title and script were based on me creating one long video, kind of like a full masterclass in one video. But as I was creating this part, I'm like, that's going to be way too long. So I'm breaking them up into different videos. So the title of this video is going to be a little bit different. It'll probably be something along the lines of how to plan and script your YouTube videos. Anyways, the point is that you're going to copy and paste all of this in there. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give you 10 hook ideas. So as you can see here, 10 different ones. The first one, ready to get your first 100,000 YouTube views? Let me show you exactly how I do it step by step. That sounds good, right? Especially if I've got 100,000 YouTube views, if I've got step by step, if those keywords are in my title and or my thumbnail, I'm following through with what I promised and what they thought they were going to get when they clicked on the title. Another one, struggling to start your YouTube journey. I'm about to give you the blueprint that's helped me hit 100,000 views. If you come up with a hook too, and you're just like, oh, I love that hook, then go back to your title and your thumbnail and say, I need to make sure that these three work together. And then you're going to have those three working cohesively together, which is going to increase the chances of people clicking through to your video and watching your video longer. Let's go back here and see what else we've got going on. What you're going to do is you're going to develop your script or your talking point. You've already got the starting point with the hook that we just went through. You definitely need to know what your call to action is going to be, your CTA. When you know what you want your viewers to do at the end or at some point throughout the video, like I said earlier, click the link to get your bundle and follow along. Leave a comment and let me know if this was helpful, right? So I'm giving you different things along the way to get you engaged in the video. You can do those same things in your video. And when you get your audience, your viewers involved in the process and they're following along and they're engaging with your video, it's going to increase the watch time. And it's also sending triggers to the algorithm that says, hey, people are loving this video. They're engaging with this video. The algorithm then is going to send it out to more people like them because it's working. You got people engaging, let's send it out to more people. It's all about making sure that you're sending it out to the right people. And it all comes down to how you plan your videos and how you upload your videos as well. When you're developing your script and your talking points, as you can see here, what's the goal of your video? Are you typically going to be doing educational type videos like what I'm doing here? Are you going to be doing entertainment videos, which I kind of inject that sometimes into my videos, but I'm not typically a funny person. I find ways to be funny, but those are going to be more in my like short form videos. Are you trying to convert your viewers onto your email list? Are you trying to get them to watch another video? Understand what it is that you want to do in your video and just make sure that you've planned it out. The duration of your video. I always tell people, because people are like, how long should my videos be? The answer is it should be as long as it needs to be to get the point across without adding the fluff. If you're adding the fluff, people are going to leave. And you'll see that in your analytics. That's one of the things that you'll see in here, that once you publish your videos, you really need to make sure that you're watching your analytics to see what's working, what's not. And then with each new video, you'll tweak one or two things so that you can make sure you're not, doing something completely different and not being able to pinpoint what is working, what's not working. Monetization, if that's one of your goals, your videos, in order to place an ad in them, have to be at least 8 minutes long. When you are approved in the YouTube Partner Program, which is when you hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours within a rolling 365 days, you have to have at least 3 videos uploaded publicly during that time frame too. I just feel like that's a given, but I want to make sure I mention that. When you do that, you do not have to place an ad in all of your videos. You get to choose which ones you place the ads in and at what point in your videos you place the ads in. Talking points. We talked about the hook, and then you want to deliver on what they need to know, and then just keep it as succinct as possible. And then always give one nugget of value. What's one actionable thing someone can do as a result of watching your video? Not something for you, meaning like the video, comment on the video, watch this next video. You want to make sure that you're giving them something of value. I've been giving a lot of examples throughout this video, but an example would be like making sure that how to go and find your thumbnail, how to find titles that are working in other niches and to make them work for your videos. Use your title and your script in ChatGPT to find hooks. So those are all things that you can now take action on. Now, I might have shared too many because now it might be getting like a little overwhelming, but I'm just showing you part of the process too. Keywords that you want to use. Think about what we're doing here. We're still planning, right? All of this goes into the planning process. And when you do all this planning up front, it makes everything so much easier. It sets your videos up for success. You're talking about in the planning process about what keywords you're going to use. And keywords are what's going to help optimize your video. And if you're talking about how to build an in-home grown garden from scratch, and you don't mention those words at all in your video, you're not going to get that much reach. So you want to make sure that you know what keywords you want to use. Don't stuff them in there because that's going to send a negative signal to the algorithm. You don't want to be saying in homegrown garden, like every other sentence, right? It needs to sound natural, but you want to make sure that you're reiterating that point throughout. And the last thing is, and this sounds crazy, but you do have to think about your editing. And here's why. And you'll experience this if you haven't already edited your own videos. Even if you don't want to edit your own videos, I don't like editing my own videos either. But there is so much to learn and so much to gain by editing your videos, at least the first few or for the first month or two. And the reason why I say that is because when you're editing your videos, you discover and then you uncover things that you actually should have thought about when you were recording your video, or as you're recording your video, you're thinking like, oh, that'd be a great video to put in here. That'd be a great image to put in here. Sound effects, like whatever it is. At that point, if you're thinking after the fact, it's just going to create more time to a process that, let's just say you allowed 15, 30 minutes to edit your video, a shorter video where you're not doing a lot of editing. And then all of a sudden it's taking you 2 hours because after the fact, you're thinking, oh, I want to do a B-roll there. Oh, I want to do a transition there. If you plan that out ahead of time, again, you've got your script, your hook's going to be, even if you're not talking like exactly verbatim from script, obviously I'm not either, then at least you have an idea of what else you can include in the video. If I wasn't showing you these examples and I was just talking to screen, then I would be using those as B-roll because I'm just talking to screen and talking to screen. I'm talking to a screen, I'm talking to a camera, talking to camera, then that gets boring. You're not going to want to just look at me all the time, right? Just like I'm going to stop sharing that now so you can see me again. But let's just say I was talking through this entire time. So as I'm giving you examples, instead of you watching me the entire time, I'm going to plan ahead of time. Like when I'm talking about thumbnails and how to find them, then I'm going to use my B-roll as what I was actually showing you on screen. You do want to think about those things ahead of time. So when it comes time to actually start editing your video, you've got everything in one place. And what I recommend to my clients is that if you've got a Dropbox link, if you've got a Google Drive, wherever you're storing things online, either for yourself or if you're going to hire somebody eventually as your video editor, then you're going to have all that stuff housed someplace for someone to access easily. So what I do is, and I'll pull this up too. Hopefully you can't hear all those people outside. I'm going to pull this up because I want to show you an example of what I'm talking about. I use Google Drive for the most part. I'm going to pull up the first tier. So I'm just going to show you an example of mine. I'm going to share my screen. I'm on Google Drive. And so in this case, for my videos, where I would put them is I would create a monthly folder. So January 2025. Then I'm going to break it down by week because I'm publishing 2 videos a week right now. The week of January 1st, here's what I wanted to show you is that as you find B-roll or as you create it, then what you're going to do is you're going to want to put it in the B-roll folder. And then any of the planning and research. So if you're going to use the planning document, if you're going to use this production process, Google Sheet, you can put that in there. Raw footage. So that would be the actual video that you're creating like right now or on your phone or wherever you're creating it. And then your thumbnail. You can put that in there too. Now, one thing I do want to show you is for thumbnails, one thing that I do, I create all my thumbnails in Canva. And what's been really easy for me when I go to create a new thumbnail is that I've created a folder on Canva. Now, I do have the paid version of Canva, so I'm not sure if that's available on the free version. If it's not, then you can just create, like I was showing you on Google Drive, but if you want to keep them all in one place. So I've got my thumbnails, I don't know how far they go back, but you can see patterns, right? You've got your thumbnail. You need to have a face. You need to have an object. So we'll just pull up this one, for example, and then you need to have text on screen. You want to keep it as simple as possible. You definitely don't want to reiterate like what your title is. Think through like thumbnail needs to be something intriguing and you're closing the gap. So you're talking about like where they are now, where they want to go, and then something intriguing that's going to get them to want to click on it and say, yes, I want to go there. In this case, I'm talking about how to get more views on your YouTube channel, or how to get to 100,000 views faster, something like that. I used an image, which is the third thing that you need to use on your thumbnails, because it's something that's going to be visual for people to quickly make an association with. I would say 3 words, maximum 4 words on your thumbnail. Be creative with it. Lean into Chat GPT if you need to and say, hey, here's my thumbnail. Here's what my title's about. If you want to copy your script again, you can. Or just go ahead and continue with the same prompt that you had before and say, I've got a thumbnail. I want to have text on screen or text on my thumbnail. What are 3 to 4 words that I could put on there that's going to capture somebody's attention? See what it gives you. So give me 5 ideas or whatever the case may be. But those are the 3 things you need to have on your thumbnail. Face, yours or somebody else's. An object, can be anything, but something. And then you want to have text on screen. That's best practices for your YouTube thumbnails. I think that is it in this video. I know this video has been super long. The planning one is going to be the longest because that's where you're going to spend the majority of your time. We did talk about your call to action, what you want them to do next. When viewers get to the end, then you're going to have to, and even throughout, like I was saying, leave a comment, here's a link, click on this. In fact, what's one thing that you're going to take action on right now as a result of watching this video? And then don't forget to grab your bundle via the link in the description. So make sure that you're doing that. Your call to action might also be as you're just getting started with videos or you're like re-energizing your channel with videos. It might be leave a comment. That's like the best compliment when it comes to the algorithm that you can make is engagement on your videos. So instead of saying subscribe or like my video, say leave a comment and then tell them what you want them to leave a comment on. An example is what's the one thing or what's the one action item you're going to do immediately after watching this video. If you're talking about growing in-home garden, have you ever done this before? What do you think about this? What vegetable would you want to start with first? What is your favorite vegetable? You need to come up with things like that that's going to get people to be like, oh yeah, I want to participate. That's just something that is going to help create engagement. And then you can see if people are engaging on your videos, it means that it's working and it's landing. And then it's going to help guide you to where you need to go next. So that I'm going to hit on other things in future videos. We're going to talk about equipment, filming best practices, editing your videos, uploading your videos. After you upload your videos, creating short video clips. And then we're also going to talk about metrics, things that you need to watch after your videos are uploaded. that's going to give you an indication as to what's working, what's not. Don't forget to grab your bundle via the link in the description. And if you liked everything I talked about here, you're definitely going to want to watch this video next because it's going to take you to that next step in your video planning process.